After a crazy week in Bitcoin and crypto, reaching all-time highs, alts going all over the place, going nuts, and now it looks like we're going into a correction. Is that correct? Let's have a quick look into that, into some alts, and seeing if that is actually the case. Cue the intro. So let's have a quick peep at the news, and then we'll get straight into some of the coins, some of the charts, and wrap up this video. So as mentioned, Bitcoin reaching all-time high 67k, and this is after the news of the ETF. Also, potentially we might see Galaxy Digital drop the even more important ETF in maybe this year or next year, because the ETF that was dropped initially is actually based on futures rather than the underlying asset. And Galaxy Digital, which is owned by Mike Novogratz, the billionaire, if they actually drop the ETF, then it would actually be the underlying asset, which is what we want. Going over the news at a glance, Shiba Inu, oh my goodness, we're gonna have a quick look at that. Insane gains. It's definitely taken over from Dogecoin, and the little puppy that it is taken over, and it's done 10x this month alone, which is crazy. So we're gonna have a quick look at that. Also, Polkadot, don't forget the parachains are launching soon. Okay. On a negative front, Cream Finance got hacked for $130 million in a flash loan attack. CoinList now valued at 1.5 billion following a $100 million fundraiser. Crazy, just how valuable this market is. Furthermore, we have 1inch. We're gonna look at that, 90% to new all-time highs after it was listed up on upbit. Furthermore, Adobe is taking advantage of this NFT craze and getting involved. To help ensure the promise of digital scarcity, Adobe is beta testing a new feature that will help verify the authenticity of NFTs. This is going to be very, very important for NFTs. Furthermore, and lastly, crypto exchange FTX buys an ad in the Super Bowl. Their campaign to kind of brand themselves, increase the branding globally. They've already sponsored the Miami Heat Stadium. I believe they've also done an NFL team perhaps, but they've definitely done the Heat. I think another baseball team perhaps. So they're continuing with their branding. They really want to make FTX the household name for crypto. So with news out of the way, let's transition over to the charts. Get straight into Bitcoin. We're looking at the daily chart here. Now what we're seeing right here is a nice rounding formation, right? We had a nice big top, 67k. A little wick, people start selling, and now we're making lower highs on the daily time frame, which is not good. However, if you look at the low that was created early October at 53k, you measure that to the top with a Fibonacci, you can see that we are touching the 618 exactly. So this is a potential time where it can turn around. The next level would be the 786 at 56k. If it carries on from that, then this may end up being an actual correction, and then it may go towards this little local top here at 55, or even at 53. The next major kind of high would be 52. So we got to look closely. Is it going to carry on? Now, if we move to the weekly, we can see there's a lot of resistance around this area. So if it holds even for this week, then that's a bullish sign. What I did say before this kind of local top was, what I can imagine happening is for it to touch this area, maybe a week below, pick up some liquidity from this region, and then rocket to the upside. So that's what I'm still envisioning. That's still a possibility. It happens many times. This kind of wick, this area moving to the downside, kind of basically fooling a lot of people, because after this rally, people are obviously going to be super bullish. So just kind of counteract that. The whales or manipulators or whatever can just kind of short it right here, pick up liquidity, and then when everyone's kind of reversed, their kind of mindset, boom, into the stratosphere. Same thing with Ethereum. So Ethereum was looking to make new all-time highs. However, instant reversal. It didn't make a new all-time high, I think just shy of it. And now it's at this resistance level. It could dip into this area, pick up some liquidity, and rocket to the upside. But at the moment, it's holding. The key area being 3900 is just on the cusp of that before hopefully picking up some liquidity and then rocketing to the upside. So let's keep a close eye on that. We're gonna have a few look at a few altcoins and then we'll wrap it up. Not too long of a video because it is midweek. So Atom also was actually on a crazy gain today. It was up like 20%.
Nani?
Touching $43 before a massive rejection to the downside. Of course, if Bitcoin starts to drop significantly, it's going to drag the rest of the market with it. So if we look at Atom, it's actually forming somewhat of a wedge formation, although this area is not being touched by many candles, it's just wicks. But you can see this, let's just call it a counter trend line and get rid of this. You can see that potentially it could retest this area before moving up. And now what we need to happen is, of course, for Bitcoin to continue to the upside to drag the rest of the market with it. Apart from Shiba Inu, which is just on steroids at the moment, no altcoin can basically go against the trend, go against the grain, which is Bitcoin kind of selling off. But it was looking pretty good. Massive move to the upside. If we move to the daily, we can see a lot more clear counter trend line, right? So touching all the areas here. Massive breakout. Now it's looking, you see it's tapped that level perfectly. If we can maintain that, stay above the counter trend line, then for sure I can see Atom breaking to the upside into new all-time highs again.
Really?
So keep a close eye on Atom for sure. The next one we'll have a look at is 1 inch. 1 inch it just went insane. No one knew what was happening. Why did it go up like 60% to create new all-time, or just below it even? I was thinking like, what the hell is it? Why is it on steroids today? And then a massive correction, huge selling going on. Instantly, kind of the bears just jumped all over that. And what happened was, of course, the listing, as we saw the news, the listing that it was listed on upbit. So that was a huge listing. What I do think though, if it can hold this area, let's see if it's any clearer on the weekly. If it can hold this kind of area as support, there's a couple of areas here, it's just below here. If it can hold this area as support, then there is still a chance that I can build on this and move back to the upside. If at least maybe getting up to $7. Now it just needs to hold that area. If it doesn't, if it drops below 540, then I can see it start to go back down to the previous levels around 380. Probably hold that area. So let's just hope it holds this, and then it can carry on to the upside. Now the other one, Shiba Inu, oh my goodness, on absolute steroids. If we have a look at the daily, it was in this kind of bottoming out, this accumulation zone for a while, from basically May all the way until now. If you'd called this, if you had seen this chart, maybe you would have thought, I didn't look at this chart at the time, so maybe I would have thought, okay, it's going to be a good opportunity. But my goodness, look at this, look at the gains. I think it was a good 10x from the bottom all the way to the top. 11x. Now if you're holding this, I'm not going to tell you, it's not financial advice, but it makes sense. What goes up must come down. Now it can carry on going up, of course, another 5x, who knows. But if I was you, I would book some profits, whether it's 20, 30, 40, 50%, and wait to see what happens, maybe leave some on the table. But what goes up must come down. This is inevitable. This is gravity. This is physics. You cannot go against the trend right there. Okay. So we'll finish off with AGIX, one of our favorite cryptos, SingularityNET. So it's forming an interesting pattern here. kind of like a symmetrical triangle right here, and it is a bit worrying because the prior trend is a downtrend, and the symmetrical triangle is normally a continuation pattern. So potentially, if it breaks to the downside, this could end up being a big move downwards. Now, if it does move to the downside, we do have some support. This level is the key level. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 touches here. So if it does move to the downside, we can expect some support on this area. However, if it moves to the upside, which would be very, very bullish, this could be a big move towards 49.50 cents, perhaps even higher. I would say 50% for sure as number one, target one, and then number two would be 63 cents. So keep an eye on this. This could potentially go bearish. So if it breaks to the downside, just be ready and look for that 25-cent region, potentially even lower. So just be careful with that one. So I'm going to wrap this up now. So that'll be it for this video. Hopefully you got some value from that, and see you in the next one. Peace.